Okay.
I'll get it in a second.
You're live, Angel.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys. So excited to be here today. We're all getting ready here in America for Thanksgiving. Tomorrow is going to be fun. And with Thanksgiving, we get Black Friday. And a lot of people are so excited about what's coming too. We have a new LTO, limited time offer. And what is the best is a product that I had so much passion that I got introduced to my friend, Tony Derson. She's in Netherlands and a great friend. We are about to be like almost 10 years of friendship and it's been amazing. And I want to give her the time that she can guys introduce not only her husband, but his a friend and his son, her son, and all these people that are bringing this amazing product that we're going to offer at the LTO. And Tony, I want to give you the time to you to introduce us this genius that you have in your family and what they brought to the world, because it's actually amazing and people want to know more exactly how it works, the Harmonic Govee car. Tony? Tony, can you hear us?
Thank you, Angel.
Okay.
And I am also very grateful for your friendship. It is actually this month that it is exactly 10 years that we are friends. And we don't have Thanksgiving in Europe. We know about it from the US, but for me, it is something to be thankful for this weekend for our friendship, because it is around this month that it is exactly 10 years. One of the things that I'm also thankful for is for my husband, Jos, because he's always watching over me and everybody he loves and cares for. And this is one of the things that he did, and he started with a couple of years ago, that he told me, I am really, really getting worried about something that is going on in the world, and it's not good, it's not healthy for us people. And so he put together a team of all kinds of people with a lot of specific knowledge. And two of them are in the call with us tonight too. Not only my husband, but also my son Thijs, our son Thijs, and our good friend Willie. They all have their specific expertise in the world. And especially what I really like is Willie's expertise of being so specific and so accurate and not believing anything, but only testing and proof. And he managed to be in this team together with Thijs and Jos. Thijs is a biology teacher and he's also a lifestyle coach. He's a gym coach, outdoor coach. He's a very healthy young guy, and he works together with his dad in many fields. And about 4 years ago, it is now, they came with a solution of what it was called, what came to the world. Today, I read that they are already starting in Germany to test 6G, but it was 4 years ago that they found out that the bad thing that was coming towards us as human being was 5G. And I have to tell you, I never heard about 5G. And so from that moment on, it got a name. And then you start reading about it. And it was amazing to see that this team of all those scientists for 3 years have been studying about this. And I think all of us, we never knew that this was already coming towards us. So when they found out 5G is coming and it's not healthy, they said, what can we do to make the fact of the 5G very easy to deal with as us humans? My husband, he is a medical doctor, Jos. He has over 15,000 patients that he's seen in his career. and he's also a scientist and an inventor. He asks questions that I never would have thought of that there's a question about. And he gets our son Thijs so excited about it that he has been whittling his time into this project as well. And so that's why I'm so very thankful, proud as a wife and as a mother to introduce you, Jos and Thijs, and Willie as a good friend, as the one that keeps an eye on the numbers, the facts, and especially Willie. He does not believe anything. He only wants to measure and count and see whether it is proof or not. So this is nothing, really nothing to believe in. It is only fact. And I want to give the floor to the three of you guys. I especially ask the three of you to sit together and to present the card, the Harmonic Govi card that we are introducing this weekend as an LTO in the Govi program. Willie, Thijs, and Jos, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Well, yeah. Thank you very much for that introduction. Yeah, we'll just start off with our little presentation that we arranged. We already had a few presentations before this in the past, but we've managed to all boil it down to a very informative and very elaborate presentation for you all. So yes, so there is a unknown connection between EMF and water, and as most of you will probably know, EMF is something that is it was very much in the news a few years ago, and there was a lot of debate about the question if EMF is actually harmful or if it's going to be a problem, if it's already a very big problem in the world. And because we saw that there was actually a big problem already present, but probably even getting worse due to the fact that all these new technologies introduce a lot of different EMF frequencies into our environment. And that is one of the reasons that we actually started to think about ways to be able to protect ourselves against the harmful effects of this radiation. Because we also recognize that there is no way for us to completely block out all the EMF that's around us, and there is no way to completely shield yourself from all this EMF, because it's naturally present already, because we are part of a universe that's already sending a lot of EMF towards the Earth, but also the fact that we are already surrounded by a lot of influences from the outside. So the universe has a very it's a very big place where a lot of different types of radiation are present, and radiation is actually a sort of like a container word for all the different kinds of waves that are present in the universe. And these waves are they also form a way of sending us into evolution as well. So there's not necessarily harmful rays or benevolent rays. There's just some form of radiation, and it's not necessarily harmful or not. It depends on if the radiation is in harmony with the being that's receiving the radiation or in disharmony with the being that's receiving it. So these cosmic rays that we have, these cosmic rays that are present in our day-to-day lives, they also come from our planets as well. So every single planet has a different vibration, a different frequency. And all these different planets have an influence on Earth as well. So there's also a sort of symbiosis between all different planets in our solar system already. So that's already quite interesting. Here we see a picture of how this radiation is absorbed by our atmosphere and our ionosphere. So our atmosphere is made up out of layers, and every single layer has a different substance to it. But the main thing to take away from this picture is, if you look at the graph on the bottom, you can see that there are some gray areas and also some areas that are a little bit more light blue. And what this represents is how well the atmosphere is able to absorb the frequencies in these wavelengths. So as you can see on the bottom, the wavelength is actually it's just a type of radiation that is present. So every single type of radiation has a different frequency or different wavelength in a sense. So if you look at the middle, there you see all these different colors of the rainbow. And this is actually the range of radiation frequency that is visible to our eyes. So that's like our very small range. If you look at the big picture, is a very small range of all these frequencies that is actually visible light to us. And as you can see, this is also one of the parts that is right on the border of what is being absorbed by our atmosphere. And this atmosphere is helping us to survive, because if it would not absorb a lot of these frequencies, we would be bombarded by radiation constantly. And as you know, too much bombardment by these cosmic radiation waves is pretty harmful to our DNA and can cause a lot of negative effects. So that's why our atmosphere helps us protect ourselves against these cosmic radiations, but also, well, in a sense, also against our man-made, unnatural radiation. So, yeah. You want to add some? Yeah, I think the next one is already. Yes. So maybe you want to.
Yeah, and if you look at the picture, there is an open gap in this absorption, and the bad thing, or the logical thing, is that for the 5G and the other frequencies, 3G, 4G, they use this range of frequencies because they are not really absorbed by the atmosphere. And if you look more close to this picture, you can see on the left that the 5G is for a part absorbed. And that's why all the 5G equipment has to be on every corner of the street, because it's very easy absorbed. But because of that, it's more dangerous for our health too. So it's more intense than the other kind of radiation from the past.
Yes.
Okay. So if we are talking about a discussion about radiation, then the science is saying that if we want to have a conclusion if the radiation is healthy or not, they only look at the effect of the radiation on our body. Is it make it higher, the temperature of our tissues, increase the temperature of our tissues. And but it's not an important, and it's not the only thing, because in research, the Dr. Powell is one of the important doctors in this research. They proved that it's not only the thermic effects of radiation, but also the non-thermic effects of radiation. So it can change a lot of things in our body and have a lot of effects on neurological effects and physical disorders. And we have a list of here, but headaches, sleeping disorders, depression is one of the possible effects, but also DNA damage. So it doesn't have to be a warming effect of the radiation. So in the back, if you take this as a fact, then it's unbelievable important to protect ourselves of this kind of radiation. One of the important things is, and that's in our cells, we have a transport of minerals, and it's very important to keep the cells healthy. And one of the research findings is that by radiation, the 5G, 4G, 3G, the calcium transport in the cells is getting overactive. So we get too much calcium in our cells, and it's one of the damaging effects in our health. So it gives tinnitus. It's one of the things, but in general, it damages the cells. So it's also of influence in, for instance, epileptic insults, and also in the blood problems. Too much iron in the body is caused by this effect too. Okay, yeah, some
experiments.
Okay, we have investigated a lot of articles about investigations about the effect of radiation with different frequencies on the development of cancer. There are 200 experiments with 300 different frequencies, and they have tested this on rats and mice. They're injected with carcinogenic compounds, and also with cancer cells. And what was very important to see that there are frequency that increase the growth of cancer cells, and but also frequency which inhibit the growth of cancer cells. And with that knowledge, we in our head, we have developed this card. We know we have tables. We know exactly which frequency harms and stimulates cancer cells, and which frequencies can inhibit cancer cells. And on that base, we have developed this HQR technology. So, generally, you can say that you have radiation, harmful or not harmful, and we call that harmonic or disharmonic frequencies. And of course, we always will work with harmonic frequencies which support our health, and in this case, as a protection against harmful EMF radiation.
So in this picture, you can see that it's not a certain range of frequencies that are bad and not bad, but it's a mixture. So there can be, next to a bad frequency, there can be a good frequency. So it's not a straight on arranged, but it's a mixture of bad and good frequencies.
And of course, this picture is just an example. It's not correctly put into the order of harmonic or disharmonic. It's more like a way to make it visual.
Yeah. So in the 5G and in the 5G is we didn't tell, but 5G means fifth generation of frequency, and it's a mixture of frequencies. And there are in this 5G also good frequencies. It's not only bad. Yeah. So that's what you can read out of this picture.
Yeah. Okay. Here we see a water molecule, and as you probably know, if you have a little bit of science in high school, water molecules are actually polarized. So there's a negative side and a more positive side. And this sort of acts like a magnet as well. So you can almost compare it to a magnet. And when a magnet is being pulled towards another magnet, it means that the positive is attracted to the negative. And as you can see here, if two water molecules actually come close to each other with the same polarity against each other, they will just sort of not bind together. But as you can see on the right side, if they do happen to connect to the right ones, then they will form a very strong bond. And this is what we call a hydrogen bond as well. It might ring a bell for you. So a hydrogen bond is actually one of the strongest bonds in nature that is actually very powerful and very hard to break up in a normal way. And this is actually what you see when you have a glass of water and you fill it almost up to the brim, and you will see this small layer of water forming on top of the brim of the glass. And that means that the water is bonded so firmly that it actually does hold together even while the sides are not supporting it anymore. So this is what we call hydrogen bond. And if water is able to form these hydrogen bonds in a, I don't know what I hear through it, but it's really annoying. And if the water is able to actually form these natural hydrogen bonds in a normal way, when all the situation is perfectly in the correct order, then these water molecules will form in these hexagonal structures. And these hexagonal structures are one of the most energy sufficient ways for molecules to form up. You can also see this in a beehive. So the beehive is actually one of the most strong, one of the strongest building materials in nature because of this natural form. And these hexagonal structures are also present in our bodies as well. So if our natural environment is actually providing us with harmonic radiation enough, then these natural hexagonal structures will be very stable. And of course, they will always resonate a little bit. So these structures will move about a bit, but they will not break up, and they will be in this form most of the time. So you will have what we call harmonic hexagonal structured water. But if the disharmonic radio frequencies start to get a little bit stronger. So, for instance, you're next to a Wi-Fi router, or you're close to a telephone mast or anything like that, then this water will start to move around a little bit more. So it will have a lot of difficulty remaining in these hexagonal structures, and that will actually break them up and will cause your water in your bodies to be disharmonic. And of course, this is a big problem, because our bodies are, if you look at the volume of our bodies, they're almost 90% of our bodies is made up out of water. So you can imagine, if all this water is not able to form these efficient structures, it will cause some trouble. And that is what actually is happening when the negative frequencies are stronger. So here you can see how that would happen. These radio waves, these radiation waves, as you see, they always have a counterpart, which is a magnetic wave coming to it. And as I just mentioned, water molecule is almost like a magnet. Of course, this has an effect on the water molecules as well. So the water molecules will start to sway as the magnetic waves come by as well. So they will actually sway in unison with it. And here you see a little bit of a representation of what happens to a water molecule when it gets pulled to different sides. So these water molecules are not really stiff and not really like solid matter. They're always a little bit flexible, and they can actually bend quite a lot. And this is what you see. But you can imagine, if the radiation that is causing this to happen is quite strong, the water will not be able to form nice structures and be in this nice hexagonal structured form. So this is what happens then. Yeah. And here we see an example of when water is in a hexagonal structured form, and when you freeze it, then you will start to see nice, very harmonic and very beautiful looking ice crystals when you freeze it. And this is one of the things that we actually recognized when we did some experiments with water that was under the influence of the card and water that was not under the influence of the card. So we started to see these nice crystals in the water that was harmonic and that was very nicely structured, and in water that was next to a mobile phone. And this water that was next to a mobile phone would not create these nice structures in the water or in the crystals that were formed. So this is an example of that. And Jos can tell a little bit about this.
So water has, like every kind of crystal, in the most optimal form, has a color. And you know, if you are going to a very natural lake, or in this picture you see the North Pole or South Pole water, it's showing a blue color, and that's the color of the natural hexagonal formed crystals of the water. And yeah, next one. So water is like a crystal, and it breaks like a crystal. And in this you will remember from crystal physics that you have the possibility to have a lot of the whole rainbow of colors through the crystals.
Prism.
A prism in this case, yeah. And so there is a research done with living creatures, and with a light microscope, this is an example of fruit fly, and you see this is all fluid in the first days of its existence, and you can see inside this fruit fly that already organs are formed in a crystallized water form, and every organ already has its own color. So it's unbelievable nice picture, and it's showing the water already in its optimal form, in its natural form, with even more than only blue, but yellow and orange and every kind of color.
Yeah. And what you can say is, when the water was not structurized, you wouldn't get those colors. It's the same with the prism. Yeah, prism is a crystal, and here you see that the water in this fruit fly is crystallized. And that's why, because that you will get those colors in a polarizing microscope.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an animal life. You can see the different organs with their own colors.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, nice picture representing the natural water. If you look at drops and water, then you can see that the drops are very strong, and its surface has a very strong connection and bond, so they can even float on water.
Yeah.
And if we have two jars of water, even the water can make a bridge in between, and the bond of the water is so strong that it can have an inch, or how much is
4 centimeters.
4 centimeters,
About 2 inches.
2 inches of bridge forming, and so strong is the water and in its natural form.
If you use electricity in this case.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. What you see here is how I make one step back. So,
Eén keer.
what you see here is that how this hexagonal structure can build sheets. In this way, this hexagonal water can make layers, and it does it to make a connection between the positive, the negative oxygen atom, the red one, and the white one is the hydrogen, the positive hydrogen atom. And in this way, the hexagonal water can make sheets. And we have a picture of it. Here you see this sheet, and with a so-called 60-degree shift, by connecting the hydrogen atom and the oxygen atom, and you see the picture on the left. That's made with an atomic force microscope, and you see how this water can structure, and there is evidence also under the atomic force microscope. does it works, does it function like this model, which I showed you.
And it's really a tube, and it's important in conducting information in the body too.
Mhm. Yes. So if we have these different layers of the hexagonal structures, these will actually form like a sort of yeah, how do you call it? Chainmail sort of armor around your body as well, because you have this structure that is already much stronger than it should be, or if it's under influence of negative radiation. But these structures will also have the ability to actually repel a lot of negative influences on their own, and this is what we call the exclusion zone in a sense. And if I think it's the next one, yeah. And this is also caused because of the vibration of these sheets of hydrogen formed layers, and because of their vibration, they already have their own emittance of EMF as well. So they actually send out a type of radiation of their own as well. And this is what actually forms sort of like a barrier for your body as well. And we believe that this might also help us to protect ourselves against negative radiation as well. So this is also one of the extra benefits of this hexagonal structured water, that we already have an extra barrier that might protect us against these harmful rays coming from the outside. And as I already mentioned, this exclusion zone, which is formed by this sort of repelling force, is also one way to this is one way to show it is in our body fluids, which is our intracellular fluids, that this layer of gel, which is also emitting this repellent force, is already sending off a lot of the particles that are also negatively charged. And I think, yeah. So this means that there's an extra boundary for all this negative influence. So this could be bacteria or viruses or any other foreign antibodies or any other things you don't want in your body. They can already be repelled more by our cell walls as well, or cell membranes, because we're not plants. We don't have cell walls. But so yeah, this is one way that this already has an extra effect on it as well. And Jos can tell a little bit about.
Yeah, and the same thing is if you look at the blood cells, red blood cells, the surface of the red blood cell has this exclusion zone too. And if you don't have it, the red blood cells close together. So they form strings, and it's blocking or making the blood flow more difficult. So the better the structured water is in the water, in the blood, the more structured water there is in the blood, the better the red blood cells keep loose. And a second effect of this exclusion zone is a very important one for the blood flow in our vascular system. Normally, the red blood cells are bigger and wider than the blood vessels. And if they are in a blood vessel and they would touch the wall of the vessel, they would be blocked and slowed down. But by the repulsing effect of the hexagonal water on the inside of the blood vessel, the red blood cells don't touch the wall of the vessel. And even if the heart is not pumping, the blood flow still goes on. And so if this effect of exclusion zone would not be in our bodies, the heart would have to pump at least 100 times more strongly than it has to do now.
Yes. Right. So now we have some results from some tests that we have done and performed. Not only ourselves, but also different
Independent
laboratories,
yeah.
independent laboratories have also tested how to show what the effects of the card are actually. And Willy can.
So what you see here is an experiment in which we use saliva with the effect of a cell phone without the protective effect of our card. That is what you see on the left. And on the right, you see another picture on the, at the influence of the cell phone, but with the protected card. And you see how nice in the right picture the saliva crystallize, and it supports our
hypothesis
of the structured water, the hexagonal structured water. That is a nice experiment where you can prove this.
We've also done a test with a mobile phone and some seeds of plants. Yeah, it's a DEC telephone exactly, and this is one of the telephones that is actually very strong, a very strong emitter as well. Luckily, they're not used that much anymore, but they're one of the strongest emitting telephones as well. So we tested to see if the card has an influence on the sprouting of these plant seeds. And yeah, we actually saw, what was it? I think it was, yeah, 9 compared to 2 sprouting seeds with the card. So that's a pretty significant result, and we were very happy to see this, that we actually had a very showing result that actually proves that the card at least has a positive effect on sprouting of seeds. And yeah, so and this is one of the machines that is also used for showing
carry-on photography.
Yeah.
So it's this machine is detecting the activity of our fields, of our energy field, and it's South American research done with the card and without the card, and you can see that stress levels go down, and
organ disbalance.
And the organ disbalance is going down too.
Yeah.
So it's
this is an external experiment done in South America, I believe.
Yeah.
And what's impressive is the quick effect. You see within 20 minutes, you see a decrease, a stress decrease within 20 minutes of 14%. And also a 38 decrease in organ disbalance.
Yeah.
Okay, then in Russia, they have done a test with a so-called HRV experiment. That's a heart rate variability, and that has to do with the rhythm of your heart. And that's an art of stress indicator. So they have taken 20 subjects, and after a rest period of 5 minutes, they have telephoned for a period of 5 to 10 minutes, and that is with card, double blind. The people didn't know if there was a card in that box. And after that, another rest period of 10 till 50 minutes. And at the end, they telephoned once again, with card or without card. And also, whole experiment, double blind people didn't know if they actually had a card or not. 20 subjects in this setup, and also they turned the whole experiment in another sequence. So they started with without card and telephone, and after that with card and telephone, and evaluate the effects on HRV, which is a stress indicator. And you can see here the results of it. You see left in the left corner, in 37 of the 40 subjects, in the improvement in the homeostatic state. And you see here 2 bars. This is an example of 2 volunteers. The red one is without card, the red bar, and the blue card is with card. And you see a drastic improvement of the parasympathetic nervous system, and that is that part of our nervous system which calms down our system. So that's a reason why the cards better say, here can you prove that the card has an effect on stress, because it activates the parasympathetic system. And on the right you see another parameter which they use to see the effect. Yeah. Okay, then the next thing is what they have done. They have look at the immune profile, also double blind. What you see, this whole list is the different parameters which they have measured with 35 subjects. And here you see the effect of with and without card. Once more again, the red bar is without card, the blue one is with card, and you see the green zone. Green zone is the normal value, and those subjects has carry the card 2 months with them, and also telephoned, use a mobile phone frequently, and you see the drastic effect with and without card. So, and you see also the effect on the leukocytes, the white blood cells, and also effect on the B lymphocytes and the effect on the T lymphocytes. And always you see the blue bar with card will get the normal levels which you like to have. So here an overview of all those experiments. One another experiment they did with so-called dark field microscopy, and that's a qualitative assessment. They visual interprets how blood cell looks, and what they say is that there is a stabilization of the immune system. And then we had a lot of testimonials from those subjects, and mostly what they say is better concentration, sleep better, and less hungry. Okay, then what do we have next?
Yes, so now a little bit of an explanation of how the card actually is used better or best in a sense. And one of the things to always keep in mind is that this energy from the card is actually constantly rotating. And if somebody has a pendulum, like some people that use a pendulum to find out if something is good for them or not, you will see that the pendulum will start to swing in a counterclockwise manner if it's on the flower side, so the card side with all the little cloves that we have, and there the pendulum will start to swing in a left bound way. And on the other side, where the arrows are, this is what we call the stimulating side of the card. There it will start to swing in a right or a clockwise manner. And this has a stimulating effect on a person. So there's two different ways to use the card. One way is to actually have a more calming effect, and the other is a more stimulating effect. And you can also compare this to yin and yang. And then the clover side, so the flower side, would be the more yin side, and the arrow side would be the yang side. And this is one way to actually interpret it as well. So these can be used in different ways depending on the situation. So if, for instance, if somebody would want some more energy during a workout or anything like that, you would point the stimulating side, so the yang side, towards your body, and then it will have a more stimulating effect on you. And the other way around if you would want to have a more calming effect. So you can wear the card all day around, and there's no need to actually charge it or anything like that, because the card is actually using these outside radiation waves as a sort of antenna that actually sort of strikes it like you would strike a hammer on a tuning fork. So the energy from the outside is used for the card to have its stimulating effect, and you can wear it all day long on your body, and it will not have a negative effect on any appliances or any electrical things that you use, like a mobile phone or a pacemaker or anything like that. It will not have a negative effect on any electrical machine. And you can also use, if you look at the side of the card, I don't know if you can see it a little bit, but it's also on the picture. On the side of the card, there's the little strip of metal, which you can touch with both your hands. And if you point it towards yourself or towards somebody else, you will actually use your natural electric current that is always running on your bodies, because we always have this small electricity running through us. You will actually charge the card up a little bit more, so you will use your own energy to power up the card effect a little bit more. And in this way, you can also maybe use it in certain situations where you would need a little bit more of an influx of energy. So yeah, that's one way to use this. Yeah, and I think that's the end of our presentation that we had. We had a few more questions that we were sent, and I think I've already answered a few of them, but maybe there's some more questions that somebody would want to ask or that you already had asked. You can stop them.
Yeah, you stop it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much, guys. And that is an amazing information. And I want to show you, this is what is coming to you guys. We got pick up the packaging. It's ready to go. That means with all this information, I believe anybody can go to the Facebook. We're going to share this to the groups too. But this is, I only want to show you guys that is, I was very happy because first of all, learning a lot, Ty, what you were saying about the car, but this is amazing. And that's what is coming for you guys. The packaging is here, is beautiful. I'm excited for it. That means if you want to learn more, go and look it up, this video. You have questions, go and clip and look it up what you need to do. You can copy this. But thank you so much for everyone in America. Happy Thanksgiving. For everyone around the world, we wish you guys a very good weekend that is coming. And the best part, the America got from Thanksgiving is Black Friday. That means you had the discount. And remember this, okay? This is 48 hours, okay, guys? That means we've been telling you, save your money and the e-wallet or get your credit card ready. Remember the Black Friday for us is with your universal clock. That means you don't need to wait until Friday at midnight. This is happening before, okay? That means you don't need to be awake at midnight or anything like that. Thank you so much, Angel. I don't know if you want to add anything else, but you guys, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your knowledge, and we appreciate this a lot.
Yeah, very welcome.
Thank you. Angel, do you want to do anything else or we're good?
No, I think we're good. Thank you guys very much. We appreciate you. We appreciate you taking time out of your day to share a little bit more about this product with us. We are all really excited. We've been using it. I got it in my pocket here at my flower shop. So super excited. I love the benefits that I'm getting from it. And I know that you guys are going to really want to use this. It has been definitely something that a learning curve for me because it was never something. Carrie was all for it. Carrie, from the second she heard about it, Carrie was like, I'm sold. When can I have it? I need it yesterday. And I had to learn a lot about it because I didn't know a whole lot about it. And I've learned a lot since I got this card about a month ago. And I'm super excited to share it with all of you. Again, nobody has early access. You can't get this yet. So as soon as it goes live on Thursday evening, you will be able to place your order. Again, if you want to use your e-wallet funds, leave some funds in your e-wallet, then you don't have to pay any exchange rates, which is awesome, especially if you're like in a country like Canada where it's 30 cents on the dollar. It makes a big difference. And so keep this plugged into your e-wallet, get this order in. Share with as many friends and family as you can. As customers, you can purchase this. That's not something we typically do with an LTO, but we just felt as a leadership team that this product was so important to get into as many hands as possible that we talked with the owners and we got them to offer it to customers as well. So we're excited to get this into as many hands as possible. Me and Angel Rodriguez have a certain number in mind that we need to sell.
Very important.
To sell. And so if you help us reach that, there's going to be a special surprise in Utah.
Yes.
So,
and you know, Angel,
again,
Angel, you mentioned something amazing. Nobody has a special link. Nobody has a special loophole to go get the cars. It's going to show in your back office like anybody else at the same time with the universal clock. And yes, some people were able to get the cars because when I had events, I would give my personal car and I will end it up with no car for a minute. And I'm okay with that. And not because I prefer one person better than the other one. I am always going to give, if I have my back and you will know me, I will give even my backpack. I done it a few times. That means I ended up with a plastic bag coming back home a few times. But it's not because I prefer somebody else or because a leader. For me, I believe, this is what I love about our company. We care about everyone, but I only want a disclaimer. It's not a special link, never been a special link, and we love you guys. And I only want to clarify that too.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for tuning in, for taking some time with us today. And we are blessed that they chose to partner with us to help us bring this around the world. And we hope that we do them justice and honor as well. So thank you so much to the development team and to the doctors and everyone that put this together for us. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.